Millions of women want a slim waist. And the question is, can someone stay slim after getting slim? So today we're going to talk about how you can stay slim after 50 and remain that way for a long period of time while feeling healthy as well. So Ellen Barrett will tell us how to do this, and she's a renowned Fusion Fit pro who starred in Fit TV's All-Star Workouts, created best-selling DVDs like Crunch, Fat Burning Pilates, and the Yogini workout, and is currently experiencing great success with her own online movement studio called Let's Move at ellenbarrett.com. And her motto is "Movement is medicine." She's on a mission to help women feel empowered through regular exercise. Now, we know millions of people want to have a slim waist. And the trouble is that a lot of us, including me, suffer from a yo-yo kind of effect where you lose a bit of weight and you feel great for a while, and then you have a big meal, and then again you're bloated, and then again you're on this roller coaster ride of, oh my God, my life is terrible because my waist keeps growing, and how am I going to hide this tummy in this amazing dress that I have? So tell us about getting a slim waist after 50 and staying slim after 50. What does that take? What's your blueprint for doing so?
Heal Podcast with Lily Patrascu shares longevity and anti-aging techniques to stay young forever, increase energy, overcome addiction, and live your longest, best life ever. Shared by world's most innovative, alternative, and traditional health thought leaders, healers, and doctors. Discover quantum healing strategies to heal your mind, body, and soul.
Great question. I feel like a lot of women out there are curious about how to do this. So it's super common. No one's really isolated. It's not like you're unique for having this kind of desire. I think it comes down to lifestyle. You had mentioned yo-yoing. People go on and off programs, on and off movement, on and off certain foods. And that is the problem. You know, life is about our habits and our lifestyle. And it's just about, what do you do every day? And, you know, maybe there's an exception. New Year's Eve, there's an exception. But then on, January 1st, you get back on track. So I think it's that for sure. It's that we have this people go on and off. It's unsustainable. So really the key is to find something that's sustainable, and it's movement, it's diet, and it's lifestyle in general. So it's not just one thing either, which I think is also, people think, oh, I'm doing this workout program, I'm going to be fit and slim, but it's all the pieces. It's all the pieces. It's not just diet. It's not just fitness. It's not just lifestyle. It's all the pieces.
Thank you. How can a woman stay slim after 50, considering menopause and the impact that menopause tends to have on women?
Great question. And I definitely think metabolism is different, after menopause or during menopause. It's shocking to a lot of women who are used to eating so much more, and now they really restrict their calories and they're still gaining weight, or they're not as slim as they want to be. I for sure think it's trickier, but it just comes down to being a little cleaner, a little bit more disciplined, and being strategic. So strategic with your workout. I say this all the time, that women need to work out more movement. But it can't be intense. It can't be irritating. It can't be irritating to the nervous system. So it's soothing and nurturing movement, but it's often. And I think that's a huge sweet spot. Like, you don't want to have, you could do a long hike, but you just don't rush through that hike. You can lift weights, but it shouldn't be this hyper thing, and it shouldn't be, over a certain amount of weight is too irritating, or rushing is too irritating, or too heavy a weight is too irritating. So it's really about finding that really beautiful sweet spot, that just right, where it's giving you energy, not depleting you. And women really get off track with this because there's a panic that sets in with weight gain that's kind of coming out of nowhere. And so they almost torture themselves, but they almost punish themselves by doing these workouts that are so irritating. But in reality, it's going the wrong way. You want to be more nurturing, more soothing with movement. So it's not nurturing with a blanket and a spa date, which could be lovely as well, but it's nurturing with movement. So as long as you can breathe bigger, move bigger, it really does make a huge effect on energy level. And that really is a key. That's a key. And our mindset. We need to stay optimistic. We need to stay positive. We need to stay enthusiastic about ourselves. And we can't do that when we don't feel good.
Thank you. I am very sporty. Okay. And I would say I exercise a lot. Like yesterday I did 2 hours of swimming. I can't say that I swim every day, but for the last, I would say 6 months, I have been swimming every day, except for social commitments and so on. I'm still kind of, technically I'm obese. Okay. And my tummy is quite big. I look pregnant most days. So I'm wondering, for someone like me who is relatively sporty, who exercises and so on, what would you say would be like some small steps that I could do to get a slim waist and keep that way?
Okay, number one is focus on hydration. So hydration will actually make you feel full, so you'll be less hungry. It also gives you more energy. It also helps the organs, your digestive system, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys. It helps them function, and it does give us energy. So just having oxygen through water and hydration in the body is going to make us feel a little bit more peppy. So that's number one. Just really prioritize hydration. And it's eating water. It's not just drinking water. It's water-rich foods, really important, living water. The second thing, and this is so controversial, but I've said it forever and ever and ever, and I really believe it works with myself and with other people, especially women, is don't eat late at night. Finish your dinner at 5 or 6, and then the kitchen's closed. And these things, I'm a fit pro, and these two things aren't necessarily fitness related. They're more diet related, but it's pretty general. And I really believe this with the circadian rhythms and everything, your metabolism, you want to sleep with a pretty much empty stomach so you can get a better night's sleep. Because sleep is also another big factor with our energy level and all that stuff. Then the third thing is, I would for sure, without a doubt, move every day. And whatever that means, it could be a 10-minute walk. It could be a formal workout class. Move every day, and it doesn't have to be a formal exercise. It could be, just being active, gardening, playing a sport, taking care of things around your house with a real vigor. I always say dancing around the kitchen for 10 minutes is better than nothing. And that counts. It all accumulates. So definitely move every day. The movement key is key because it's going to give you, if it's done right, it gives us energy. And we want movement begets movement, so energy begets energy. So you just have a little bit less of a sedentary lifestyle once you start moving. We never had these problems in generations past because there was so much built-in movement to our day. And the way the world is now, we just have so many conveniences. We have drive-through restaurants. We have, food delivery service to our house. We're not, we have people that mow our lawns, and, so we, getting a little bit more active and a little bit more do it yourself is also a big tip. The fittest people I know are the ones that do it themselves a lot more. They're the ones that go and do the gardening, and they go and shovel their driveway, and they are being a little bit more physical, a little bit more tactile. I think it's huge. And where we're going in the world, I think that's going to definitely be a make or break. But so those are the three things. Number one, hydration. Number two, eat dinner early and then close your kitchen. And number three, activity every day. Get your body moving. Super basic, but powerful. Yeah.
Tell us more about getting a slim waist after 50, because I remember when I was younger, when I was up to, I would say 29, I was weighing 58 kilos. I'm not sure how much that is, but 100 and something pounds. And then I gradually was putting, I would say 2 to 3 kilos every year, because my work became relatively sedentary. And now it's like so hard to maintain that slim waist. Are there any particular workout exercises that you recommend for keeping a slim waist?
For sure. Posture is really important. Posture and alignment is very important when it comes to engaging your core, kind of creating this corset effect around the abdominal. And so anything that's going to promote better posture is really important. So Pilates, yoga, that's the alignment we want in the real world, but it's an active posture where there's hugging the midline and the abs are not, you're not slouching, you're not just, letting go of your core. So I really believe in Pilates, yoga, and then I believe in cardio that feels right, because the cardio is that calorie burn, but it's a sweat, it's a detox. And, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys, they love energy flowing and they love that sort of detoxification of movement like that. And, cardio, when you get your heart rate up, your body heats up, and the core organs need to be warm. They want to be warm. If you look at traditional Chinese medicine, it's so much about weight loss. In medicine, traditional Chinese medicine is heat up your digestive system. Make sure it's warm. And that's what cardio does. It really gets us warm. And I think that is part of the metabolism concept, is just to heat the body up, get it. So I definitely think alignment, posture, and cardio. I know it goes against the grain, because a lot of people talk today about lifting heavy weights, and I'm not against that, and it does warm you up, but there's other ways. It's not just a 20-pound dumbbell. There's other ways. So yeah.
Thank you. Tell me what you mean by cardio, because for example, I find that I lose the most weight when I'm either swimming or dancing, or let's say playing tennis. Is that included in the cardio exercise?
Totally. Those are all great cardiovascular exercises. Cardiovascular exercise, it's when your heart rate increases to a point where you break a sweat. And so that, again, your heart rate increases and that gets the body moving. But ultimately what cardio is, and I always say it's so important for people to realize this, is that you're getting more oxygen flow in your body. So cardio is flow. It's getting that oxygen flow, and oxygen raises your vibration. It makes us healthier. It gives us more energy. It's really the ultimate fuel. And so we think we're burning calories and using energy when we do cardio. But the paradox is we're attracting more energy. We're getting that flow in the body. So I really am. I'll always, to the end of time, I will love cardio, but you don't need you don't need an hour of it. 20 minutes might be good. 30 minutes might be good. If you have a really nice open weekend, go for a 2-hour hike or something longer. But it doesn't have to be this push, because it gets irritating for a lot of people after a certain amount of time.
Thank you. Tell us some fun types of cardio that a woman after 50 could do.
Yeah. So for women after 50, I'm one of those women. I think nothing's better than dancing around your house, like putting on some music and dancing. It's so fun. Barefoot is best. A good walk in nature, a power walk in nature. It doesn't have to be too powerful, but it's exhilarating. It's lovely and amazing. A game of tennis, really fun. Pickleball can be very cardio too, depending on your level of play. cycling, running, taking a Zumba class. It's endless, really, when you think about it. One of my favorite forms of cardio is hiking in the woods. And, I have my 2 dogs with me, and I, get to a scenic spot, and I don't feel like, oh, I have to keep going. My heart rate's going to drop. I just keep going. I stop and take it in, and it's part of the whole experience. And then I go some more. So yeah, it's really endless. It really, truly is endless. I mean, I have a group of friends here that there's women's ice hockey. I mean, there's just a lot of ways to get active if you seek it out. Yoga studios have power yoga classes, which are very cardio. There's so many Pilates fusion classes now that have this really beautiful cardio energy. So there's just a lot of opportunity, I think, out there. You just have to look for it, and you have to find what you like, because it's no point in doing it if it's not fun for you.
Thank you. Tell us some example workout exercises for someone who is afraid of getting injured after 50.
Great question. So injury is very common after 50, and it goes back to that notion that we have to push it more. We have to work harder. The intensity level has to be increased. And it's actually the opposite. We have to move more, but be more soothing and more nurturing. So number one, I believe, to avoid injury is to be mindful when you're moving. So that means take a few breaths, be very present. Don't be too frantic. Don't be rushing around. Get grounded, get centered. Yoga is so good at that. So number one is just to be mindful and just notice, pay attention. Don't be disconnected. Nothing's worse than someone who's like on the phone when they're running and they're like talking to someone on the phone and they're going for a run. I'm like, oh no, they're going to be injured. Number two, this is going to be controversial, but don't do too heavy of a weight. Heavy weights are disaster for women, and what's heavy? So, a 5-pound weight for me is really perfect. It's too heavy for a lot of people. 8 pounds becomes too heavy for 90% of the exercises. So don't buy into this, I need to pump seriously heavy weight. It's not for everyone. It's not for every day. And what is your heavy weight? Because, it's not 20 pounds. Most women out there cannot use a 10-pound dumbbell, let alone a 20-pound dumbbell. So that's another thing. And then I think the third thing is get a good night's sleep. The whole picture matters. So your sleep is going to affect your function. So prioritize sleep. Don't drink too close to bed. Don't eat too close to bed. Don't take too much caffeine through the day. Really prioritize your sleep. And the thing is, there's a self-fulfilling prophecy here, because the more you move intentionally, the better your night's sleep will be. So it's like this cyclical thing. People who aren't working out, sometimes they really struggle falling to sleep. They haven't gotten their energy out enough through the day. So a good exercise will really help you fall asleep at night.
Thank you. Is it realistic that someone over 50 can still have like a figure 8 body with a slim waist and, toned bum and, toned upper chest? Or is it that it's a case of accepting that's not going to happen? And if so, tell us more about what kind of exercises could someone over 50 do to maintain that kind of figure 8 body that perhaps they've had all their lives?
I for sure think it's possible. I see it every day. There's so many women out there. There's so many examples out there of women that are doing just that, and they're doing it naturally. The key is it's the whole picture. It's the whole thing. It's not just the movement. It's the diet too, and it's the lifestyle techniques too, and it's their mindset, their attitude. So remember, it's the whole picture. I think when it comes to body shaping, posture and alignment, so all day long, so not just what you do in that hour workout class, but all day long, can you keep your ears over your shoulders over your hips? Because your body weight will start going to places that have like a low energy, right? So if you stay lifted, your abs stay pulled in, your shoulders stay down and back, It's a very beautiful thing. So alignment, super important. The whole picture, super important, not just movement alone. It's never just one thing. But I think stretch keeps that mobility, and it's not discussed enough, but the mobility is really going to keep the form. So you don't want to be tight. You don't want to be, stiff. You don't want to have a small range of motion. So think about stretching. A nice soothing stretching class or yoga Pilates always has, stretch included. Bar class has mobility challenges, which are so good. So that's what I really believe. I believe pay attention to your alignment and posture, and then when you can get to the gym, stretch.
Thank you. Are there any wearables you recommend for someone to get a slim waist after 50? And I'm talking waist trainers or other, red light therapy, other tools or devices that could help someone to debloat so that they can have a slim waist that, looks great.
I love infrared stuff. I love it all. I think it's great at night. I don't know anything about the waist trimmers and all of that stuff. I don't really pay attention to all of that. I for sure believe in, like ankle weights, wrist weights, like adding that is great because you can add a wrist weight to a walk and it really increases that challenge. You can add an ankle weight to a lower body workout and it increases that challenge. And those ankle weights and wrist weights are very compact, easy, portable. You can have them in your purse or your car. And they're pretty low. They're low maintenance. They don't, you don't need to they don't need batteries or, to be cleaned or anything like that. So I really like those as props that you can kind of pick up, and bands too, like exercise bands are really great, portable, simple, low cost, lovely. So I like those kind of like little props, those little exercise props. But when it comes to like infrared, I love the beds that people lie on. The biomat is a great one. And that stuff is really good for muscle repair. It's really good for, again, temperature, creating some warmth, deep tissue warmth, which I think is great for healing and recuperating and stuff. So I do love that stuff. Yeah. And I'm a big barefoot fanatic, like working out barefoot. It will help you with alignment. It will help you with posture. So, it's really not what you're adding. It's what you're not using sometimes, like not putting on shoes for a little while every day can really, really promote that good alignment.
Thank you. Tell me more about wearables for getting fitter after 50. What I mean by that is it a good idea? Because this is something I was considering, to try to buy like a weighted vest that would allow me to train almost like I was a soldier. So let's say if I'm going for a fast walk or like a run, which I don't normally run, but I am a very fast walker. So if I was to have like a weighted vest that is relatively tight on my body, would that be a good thing to help me kind of like lose weight all around the upper part of the body? And if so, what would be the weight that I would need to safely carry to avoid injury?
So great question. We actually have a weighted vest here in my household because my son is wearing it sometimes when he trains. And we have, it's a 10-pound vest and it's a lot. It's heavy, but it's still, the way it's distributed over your torso, it doesn't irritate as much because it's evenly distributed and you're not, using your hands. It just feels like you're really carrying more weight. It'll make you think, oh my God, if I weighed 10 more pounds, this is what I'd be lugging around all day because it's evenly distributed. He'll use it. My son is, really into sports. He'll use it for sports conditioning and do some really, play basketball with it. And if you want to use a weighted vest, I think just start off walking with it. Just start putting it on to go for a walk around your neighborhood and see how it feels. It's very important that you don't run because it's going to irritate women's knees and hips and ankles. So definitely don't do impact with it, especially if your goal is to be fit and you're not trying to be like a sports hero or something. It's really important that you don't do impact because it could be very irritating to our joints. And so just see, because really you notice you break a sweat very fast when you're wearing a weighted vest because you're lugging around so much extra weight. And so you break a sweat, your heart rate gets up quicker with less of a movement. So it is a really interesting experiment, and see if you like it. I mean, you could definitely put it on and walk around the world, like run errands with it, go in and out of your car, go to the grocery store. It's very interesting to notice that. I mean, I'm very curious about how people react to that and how women react to that. But yeah, I would, if it's calling you, try it and see where you can just insert that, because it could just be something you add to your daily life and it's not taking any more time.
Thank you. What can a woman over 50 do to avoid having droopy arms and a flabby tummy? Is there anything she could wear? And if so, where would you put the wearables so that you activate that particular area?
I have to say the wrist weights are really great because you can get it like a 3 pound each, so 6 pound set, or 1 pound each, 2 pound set. And they just go around your wrists and they do really tone up the arms, because you're moving in 360 degrees the whole, all day long. So I really believe in those. And push-ups are great. You don't even need any prop. Push-ups on your knees, mindfully, amazing. They tone every muscle in the upper body pretty much. So, push-ups, you don't need to do a full push-up on your toes. You can do ones that are more sustainable that you can maybe get 20 reps in, 30 reps in. So really, it goes back to basics a lot with me. There's true blue exercises that have been around since the beginning of time that work really well. And when it comes to the abdominals, a lot of people have very strong core. They have strong core, but they have inflammation in their gut. And so it seems like they're not strong enough, but they have the abs. They really have to minimize that inflammation, and that comes from diet. So really figuring out what foods are inflaming your digestive system. And I think that's really what people complain about most, and they try to fix it with movement. But it needs to be fixed with diet.
Thank you. How can if I start wearing wearables, like the weights on my wrists, for example, and my legs, how can I avoid getting injured doing that? Like, how dangerous is it to wear weights when you're walking with something on your wrist? Because, for example, for me, there's two key things: the voice and the hands have to work. Because that's like the key component of being a writer and being a speaker. And then, if I injure my hands, then it's like, that's it. So tell me more about that.
It goes back to that mindfulness. I mean, that's a big thing. A lot of women over 50, they get injured right out of the gate. They start doing things that are too intense, too often. They're irritating their body, and they're stressed. They're stressed out. They're also sleep deprived. So when it comes to movement is really third down. Number one is sleep. Number two is eating right. And number three is movement. And that's hard for me to say because I'm a fit pro and I want movement to be number one, but it's not number one. You need to really get yourself in the right frame of mind before you move. You have to be in the right state of being before you move. And injuries happen when we're out of body, right? When we're frazzled, when we're rushing, when we're stressed, when we're cold, when we're irritated, when we don't have enough energy and we force something. So, injury is the ultimate taboo. I think it's going to set back women who are trying to stay slim. That sets women back more than anything else. So you want to prevent that by being mindful, by really taking care of your whole self. And, don't do heavy weights, for you, I would definitely 1 or 2 pound, wrist weights, perfect. Don't do anything excessive because you want to err on this side of caution. Heavy weights is really can be very tough for women.
Thank you. Tell me more about waist slimming. What are some great exercises for that? Because I saw on TikTok so many women showing, for example, bridges instead of actually abdominals. And abdominals is something I've tried, and I do find abdominals quite suitable for me because every time I do it, it's very easy for me to do 100. And then I find that every time I do abdominals, I lose a lot of the weight from my face as well, which is really great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering, is that the kind of exercise you would recommend for women to get a slim waist?
So you had mentioned bridge, like the yoga bridge.
Yes.
That is actually a great waistline toner because it stretches while it squeezes. So it has the in and the extension. So it's very flattering, very highly functional. The spine craves that range of motion, believe it or not, because we round forward and hunch forward so much that, everything is good though. So crunches and abdominal exercises like crunches are beautiful. They're great. They get the job done. They really help us strengthen the abdominal. But something like a bridge in yoga has the stretch effect and it has that spinal flexion. So it's definitely a great thing to add. So both of them are great. One isn't better than the other, but there's so many ways we can kind of address core strength. And that's the beauty now because, we've got a lot of yoga, a lot of Pilates, a lot of, forms of workouts that just do a great job at targeting the core in a very functional way. So it's supporting the spine. So, all of that. Yes. Yes to all of it.
Are there any other slimming exercises for the waist?
So anything that moves the waist, twisting is great. So in yoga, we have this exercise called the twisting kriya, where you just basically twist side to side to side to side for 30 seconds, 40 seconds. And it just stimulates that energy and it stretches and strengthens the obliques, the abdominal, and a lot of the lower back. So there's just like exercises like that. You can insert them into your day. And, when you're at your desk, you can take a little break and do an exercise. That's going to add up after a while. So a side bend stretching, half moon in yoga is great. In Pilates, there's an exercise called the 100, which just really gets deep into the core. So there's a lot of really great exercises out there, and you can find them easily on YouTube or wherever.
Thank you. Tell us more about getting a perky bum after 50.
Perky bum. So much of it is you want to be active, right? You want to be active. And I do think there is sort of a genetic thing to our glutes for sure. But walking, hiking, running, being active is so important. That's where cardio really helps. When you're sitting down and you're not active, the first thing to go for women after 50 is their butt. Because that's why active women have stronger lower backs and glutes. They're all connected. So just activity at large is great. But you had mentioned that you love swimming. Swimming and that like little flutter kick is excellent toning for the glutes. Excellent toning for the glutes. As is running, hiking. Bar classes, amazing for the glutes because there's so much targeted energy on the butt. So I believe all of that stuff, but I think the biggest sort of enemy is just a sedentary lifestyle. Sitting on your butt is not good for your butt.
Thank you. Tell us some great exercises for the back. Because, for example, I find that if I was to ignore the back, If you look at me from the distance, you think, wow, she has a great shape. But my back really like ruins the entire thing because it's all very, very squishy. And I have a lot of love handles. So, so I'm wondering, how can someone prevent getting love handles? And once they have them, how can they get rid of love handles on the back?
So great question. Activity and posture. It really comes back to the same stuff, like how you carry yourself and staying active, staying in that, in motion. Our ancestors, not maybe last generation, but 2 generations before now, or 3 generations before now, 15,000 steps a day was a piece of cake to that group of people. So we have to get back into activity. We have to get back to moving, and not looking at it as a chore. Like looking at it as, I'm so psyched I get to move. I'm very capable. I'm getting a lot accomplished. We have to get into that mindset of moving, because really, there's a lot of people that 23 hours of the day, they're very sedentary and they do an hour workout a day. But it's canceled because the other 23 minutes are so sedentary. So we need to get up and move, and, really, sitting down again, slumpy, slouchy posture, and not moving enough, not getting your heart rate going. It's just, it's not good for the body. The body's meant to be moving. The body is meant to be moving. That's the ultimate message, really.
Thank you. Tell us some of your favorite movement exercises for keeping yourself so pretty at 50.
Oh, thanks. Well, I move every day, and I move many times a day. I'm really active. I live in the country now, so I don't live in a big city, but I do think that people in cities are moving, just running to the subways, whatever. So, or a 5-store walk up. So I'm not saying like city life is less active, because it can be very active, but I live really, really natural. Like I'm outside all the time, even in the bad weather, and I have my dogs and I have my garden and I'm moving. But there's a lot of physical labor to like property. The property needs, you need to, trim this shrub, or you need to shovel the walkway, or there's just a lot of physicality to that. And I embrace it. That's my biggest thing, is I embrace it. I actually collect spring water, jugs of spring water, and taking the spring water from my car, bringing them inside my house is a crazy physical feat every time. And I do it every week. And so I have this built-in movement. But I teach fitness, I teach exercise, I teach yoga. And I'm so grateful for that, because those are more formal opportunities for me to sit on the floor and stretch and move to music and grab hand weights and lift some hand weights. So my big thing is every day I just move, and I move with joy. It's not irritating. I really shy away from anything that's obsessive with movement, because I am in my 50s and I want to stay in an empowered state where I feel good. So I literally do it all. Well, in the summertime, I have this cute bicycle, and the sun will be setting, it'll be almost dark, and I will just be so ambitious. I'll get on my bike and I'll ride my bike around the neighborhood, and I'll try to get to a ridge where I can see the sunset. It's very hippy dippy and bohemian, but and I get back and I've just gotten that little bit more movement. And it's just that kind of thing. It's a mindset, it's a mentality, and nothing's irritating. It feels good. It's not depleting my energy. I'm not trying to win a race. I'm not rushing, but I'm moving my body in a very intentional way that's just energizing. And that's what I wish for all women, that they find movement throughout the day, and then they have their formal workout too. But that's just one part of it. You want to have activity through the day.
Thank you. Tell us more about losing weight from the sides of your waist, like from the literal sides here.
So, everyone's body type is going to be different, and where we attract excess weight is interesting on where it falls on certain people and where it it ends up. And I do think it has a lot to do with our alignment and posture. And so, again, back to standing tall, standing tall, sitting tall, staying aligned, ears, shoulders, hips. It really does make a difference with where the body, excess body weight tends to fall. It tends to, if we're slouching, it's something, there's like dead energy somewhere in the core or around the waist. So, being lifted in the chest, down with your shoulders lifted in your chest is a real game changer energetically. But there's nothing better than again, cardio, moving your body in a big range of motion. It's just really good. You can't really spot train and spot reduce. You have to everything goes off the body, but you can carry weight better and more evenly distributed, which I think is really important.
Thank you. How can women over 50 find the kind of workout that works for them, that they prefer to do? So, for example, when you mentioned I forget what exercise it was, the plank, I think it's called.
Push-ups. Yes.
Oh my God, I cannot think of anything worse than a push-up. So
yes,
I understand I understand that that's the kind of exercise that might be worthy to do and it works, but oh my God, if only there was something else, because I really dislike them. So I'm wondering whether you say there are different types of exercises that someone could choose, and if so, how does someone choose the kind of workout that brings them joy and at the same time works for that particular area they want to target in their body?
You don't have to do anything you don't want to, right? So the plank isn't for everybody and push-ups aren't for everybody, but maybe a push-up against a wall. You can do the push-up against a wall. You could do a one-arm push-up against a wall, and it just is a little kinder, a little gentler, and it just might irritate a lot less. So, you always say you have to kiss a lot of frogs in fitness. You have to kiss a lot of frogs to find the right, prints for you, the right format for you. When people are like, I was super tortured. I tell the story every once in a while about, I was part of a gym and they made all the instructors become spin certified. So we were spin cycling instructors, and I had to get through that certification and I hated it. I mean, first of all, the name of the program was Mad Dog. And I was like, I'm not a mad dog. Like, I didn't like the name. But it was very competitive. It was very feisty. It was so intense. And I was just so irritated by the action. And it was just very it was very type A++ personality, which was not what I was into. But to make a long story short, I went through that because I was naive. I was very young. I really didn't know myself, but I learned a lot about myself. And I learned that that's not a format. If it was the only thing I could do, I probably wouldn't do anything because it just didn't serve me. So you have to find what really feels right for you. And sometimes it's a specific instructor. Sometimes it's a format. Sometimes it's the time of day. Sometimes it's the environment. Right now in the United States, yoga has become about the environment. The yoga studios are all beautiful and they have build out and they have beautiful scenery and beautiful lighting. But when I started, yoga was in basements, in factory buildings that were dilapidated. And so we're fine tuning everything. And it's just, I love yoga in a beautiful, serene setting. It's amazing. So some people might not need that, but it's really important that you just get your body in motion. That's the biggest thing. Get it in motion any which way that feels right for you. And it could be, your best time of day to work out might be 7 a.m. or your best time of day might be 7 p.m. You need to find out when you're really feeling like movement is great and then move. It's really that simple.
Thank you. Is there any positive mindset that could potentially help someone to lose weight? And if so, what specifically will help? Is it saying affirmations, or is it just generally believe that you're beautiful? What are the types of things that have made a difference in your personal life to kind of become a radiant, glowing woman after 50?
I really, it's such a good question. I've used affirmations my whole life, and I feel like they take a long time to really get embedded in the body, but they can't hurt. They only help. The mentality, the mindset is really important. The number one mindset is the ball's in your court. You are in charge of your body. You hold the key. You are not a victim. There's tools that you have. You don't need a prescription. You don't need a trainer. You don't need any money. You don't need a gym. You have everything you need right now to be fit. That's a really important mindset. And that's all I just spewed out were a few affirmations, right? I have everything I need, right? That's a great affirmation. But that's the number one thing. It's like we give away our power so much as women. We think, oh, I need that doctor appointment. Oh, I need that prescription. Oh, I need a private chef. I can't do it myself, right? But you can do it yourself. And it's really great if you take the reins of your life, take the reins of your health. You can do it. Little actions every day are a big deal, Working out every day is a big deal. It'll change your life. It'll change your life more than anything. So that's number one. I think number two is, there's nothing wrong with you. We women think, oh no, I've gotten old. Oh no, my body doesn't work like it used to. It's like, that's not a problem. You're comparing yourself to someone you're not anymore. But right now, nothing's wrong with you. Just keep going. You're perfect. You're a perfect 50-year-old. You're a perfect 80-year-old. Just remember that there's so much more right going on than anything that you might be depressed about. I mean, I always say, like, we have our fingernails grow. Like I have a cut, it heals itself. The body is a miracle. It is working for us. We are blessed to have it. When we're 100 years old, if we're lucky enough to still have a body, we should be so psyched we have that body, even if it's, been through a lot. So that's another thing is like we're so lucky and blessed to be here and to have a body, and the body's working for us all the time. It's really amazing. I mean, food is being digested. It's amazing. Our breath is happening. We don't have to think about breathing. Our breath is happening. So there's a lot of stuff going on your behalf right now. So keep in mind that the universe is conspiring for you and your body is on your side. So there's so many little mindset. There's so many. I think that's like the biggest work I've done, in the last 10 years is on my mindset, on really making sure I don't lose confidence moving into my 50s. And I don't lose confidence because I have this mindset. I know I'm really capable. I know I'm really blessed, and I know my body loves me. And those are all affirmations that I just said, but they're my mindset now because I've really gotten them in my body.
Thank you. Tell us where entrepreneurs can connect with you and your offerings.
Yeah, I'm at ellenbarrett.com. I have an online workout studio called Let's Move, and we have a huge assortment of workouts that are fusion, barefoot, and various lengths, various intensity levels. It's my little baby. I'm also on Substack, so you can look me up on Substack, Ellen Barrett on Substack. And and I'm on Instagram at Ellen Barrett Fit. So those are the 3 places people can find me.
Thank you.
Follow me for more interviews with world's most innovative health changemakers to live your healthiest life ever.